we've run into some customers that want to set their rotary limit location with their rotary on their NGC controls. Easiest way to do this is you can do it through your settings. That's basically where we set our travel limits. We can set travel limits for X, for Y, for Z. We can also do it for A axis, but there is a little bit of a process to it. And the instructions that the setting gives you they're pretty good, except I think they have one of the instructions wrong, where they tell you to rotate your A axis to the most positive location. I think they mean the negative location before you set the setting. So right now, I've just got a mocked up part on here that you can see it's going to hit on my table if I rotate my rotary all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my part so I can move my rotary to its load point. So on the control, I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to go up and over to user positions. I'm going to cursor down to user travel limit. I'm going to cursor right to go into the tab. And I've got minimum and maximum travel limits for A, B, C, X, Y, Z. So what I'm going to do is go down to the max travel. My minimum travel limit doesn't let me do anything. The buttons are grayed out, so I can't set anything here. But if I go down to the max travel limit, basically what this is doing is it's going to let me lock in my maximum positive location. Now where your maximum travel location is actually going to be set is at your zero location, your A home location, plus the grid offset, meaning how much it shifts past the limit switch before it heads home. So on the screen, you can see it says to prepare to mount the workpiece, F3. So if you press it, I slow my rapids down, and to tell you the truth, you shouldn't have your part or your fixture on your rotary at this point. You're gonna put that on after we do this next step. But again, this is just a piece of cardboard. It moves freely. I'm not worried if it hits anything. So I'm going to press F3, and it says this will cause the axis to travel the mounting position. Axis travel path should be clear or crash may occur. Do you want to continue? Yes or no? Again, if your rapids are turned up, it's going to go fast to this position. So I've got my rapids turned down to 5%, and I'm just going to press Y for yes to agree to do this, or enter. So it positions. This is where your max travel location is going to be. At this point now, you can mount your fixture, your part up, and you're going to have to make it so that your fixture can be rotated. And I'm going to mount it basically almost to where I'm hitting my table, but I'll stay off of it a little bit and give yourself a little room. So I've got this locked in as my A max position limit. So at this point, what I need to do is actually hand jog to my minimum position location and then lock it in. So right now, if I press the help button, it'll actually give me help on this screen too. Like it says, we did the first step and made sure everything was clear of any obstructions. We went to the rotary axis travel limit setting. We pressed F3 to go to the mount position. We did that. It says don't move the axis till the part or fixture is mounted. Mount the part or fixture to the table in the most positive position possible for the selected axis. That's what we've done. Now this is where it's a little deceiving. It says jog the axis in the positive direction. I think that's wrong. I think we have to go in the negative direction. And it says to the desired travel limit location, do not re-zero the machine until all UTLs, user travel limits, are set. It says down below that step after we've done that, highlight the max rotary axis travel limit setting and press F2 to set the travel limit. It says if your tool change offset is not between the max rotary UTL, and what they mean by your tool change offset is after we've set our travel limits, we're going to hand jog our part flat, and we can either probe it to find our A axis zero location, or if you're using an indicator, if you don't have a probe or don't know how to use the probe the A axis, you can do that, and that's what the tool change offset will do for you. So that when you tell your A axis to go to zero, it goes to your part zero. It says if the tool change offset isn't between the max rotary UTL and minimum rotary UTL, you'll get a pop-up that will ask for confirmation about resetting the tool change offset for that axis. The minimum travel limit for this axis is calculated to ensure safe zero returning and home. Because you've got to have your zero location somewhere between your minimum and maximum travels. Okay, so it told us in step 4 to jog to the positive. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to jog to the negative. So I'm going to hand jog. got my A-axis selected, I'm in 10 thousandths per click, and I'm going to go counterclockwise to as far as I want to let it go. So I'm not hitting my table. At this point now, you can see I've got degrees inside here, minus 88.780, basically telling me what my travel limit is to rotate this part. I'm going to go back to my settings page by pressing the setting key. I'm on my max travel limit, and I'm going to press the F2 key to set the current axis position. It says tool change offset will be shifted to allow zero return for this axis. As a result, user travel limits for this axis will be shifted. You want to continue, meaning we're going to have to reset up where we want our part to be considered A0. So I'm going to press Y for yes or enter. And after I've done that, you'll see it put in a minus 86.803 degrees. It's a couple degrees different because of my grid offset shift amount, but it's basically giving me that travel limitation, meaning I can go to 0 in my A-axis and go to minus 86.803. So right now it says my A-axis is in 0. So again, if I try and hand jog it, it tells me my A-axis isn't 0. I'm going to go back to 0 return. I'm going to press the letter A and single, and it's homing. So what it's going to do is my 0 location is going to be basically at my max travel. So it's gone to my location, went to the grid offset location, backed off, and it's locked in. You can see I'm at A0 on my screen. If I go to hand jog and I try and go positive, I try and turn it into it, yeah, it's not going to let me do that. I can go negative, but it's only going to allow me to go to my minus 86.803 location that's in our settings. So you've set up your travel limits. And the other thing that's really nice about this is when you home out your machine, it can't go this way around and hit your part or your fixture in your table. It'll only go clockwise no matter where it's at, and it can't go any farther past that 0 location, so you won't hit your fixture. Okay? If you didn't have your travel limits set up, if you're on the plus side of your A0, it's going to go all the way around to home out your part, so you could possibly hit your fixture, your table. With the travel limit set, though, that prevents that. If you've got a part that it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. You don't need to set the travel limits. So at this point, what I want to do really now is I need to establish my part being flat for A0. You can always hand jog it to a location. If I hand jog my A-axis back, and let's say we indicated in and it's flat here at minus 41.503 degrees. You could put that inside of a work offset if you wanted to. I could come down in here and I could put minus 41.503 inside my A-axis work offset that I'm using in my program, but a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to be able to leave that at 0. They want this to be considered 0. So to do that, we go back into the settings. I'm going to press setting again to jump out of my user position travel limits. I'm going to go over to rotary, and I'm going to cursor down into my 4th axis. If it doesn't let you cursor down, like it's not for me, it says wrong mode. I can't do this in hand jog mode. So just leave hand jog mode. Go to MDI, memory, whatever. Press setting. Now I can cursor down to it. You highlight your 4th axis, because that's what we're working with. And what I need to do is set offsets. So I'm going to press Alt. There's another one above it saying save with offsets. I don't want to do that. I just want to set my offset. So I'm going to press Alt. And it gives me 2 options. I can set my tool change offset. I can set my grid offset. The only time you should set grid offset is if you're getting a 5.165 alarm that says that your 0 return margin is too small or too large. If you're getting that alarm, we need to reset the grid. What I want to do is do number 1, set tool change offset. They word it as tool change offset. I'd like it better if it said set part offset, but that's fine. Set tool change offset, I'll press 1. It says current rotaries contain unsaved changes. Do you want to continue? I'm going to press Y for yes or enter. And what this has just done is it's locked in my location of where my 0 is. It hasn't changed my travel limits. If I press hand jog right now, Again, I need to re-zero my A-axis. It tells me right on the bottom of the screen that I have to do that. So again, I'm going to press zero return, letter A, single. It's going to rotate slowly. Anytime you're zero returning, rotate slowly. It went to my zero location, now it's gone to my new zero location. So it's found the home switch, and now it's gone to the parts zero. But as you can see on your position screen, it doesn't say minus 41.503 in there. It says A0. So that means my work offset would also be 0 as well. Now, if you have a HAAS service key, or service text do, it's indicated basically by the color screen on the input line. If I press diagnostic and I want to look at my A-axis stuff, I can cursor through all my axis stuff, or I can simply type in A-axis. And I can press F1, and if I look down inside of here, I've got a tool change offset set in here, and this is set according with my grid offset basically, but that's the degrees that this is considered A0. Okay, so right now, again, if I go to hand job, I'm at A0 across the board on my position screen, everything is good. And if I rotate clockwise, I can go as far as 41.503. Going backwards, I'm back to 45.3. So I'm about 4 degrees different from where I set my offset. Okay, so now we're at least good to run our machine, and we don't have to worry about hitting our team.